Welcome. We're here as we start a new year, 2026. And so I should start by saying Happy New Year to everybody. Um, we're glad to have you all with us. This is our Diamond Stories to kick off the new year, sponsored by our SABR Women in Baseball Committee, and I'm the chair of that committee, Leslie Heafy. And today, our guest that we're going to have a chat with is Chelsey Falzone, who is the Youth Engagement Manager for the Minnesota Twins. And so we're glad to have you with us this morning, Chelsey.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Well, we're really glad to have you here and to hear about your story. And we're going to start this one a little bit differently because Chelsey has a presentation that she wants to give us to tell us a little bit about one of the big things that was done just in this past year that Chelsey was in charge of. And then we'll have our usual conversation, and I'll start that conversation and then invite you all to put questions in the chat and things. And so, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you, Chelsey.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate being here. Thank you for the invite. I'm very, very honored. There's a whole lot of amazing guests that you could have chosen to spend your time with. So I appreciate the invite. Yeah, I will share my screen. I will walk through. This is a presentation I've used previously, so I'll skip through some of it that maybe isn't as relevant for our discussion this morning. Here's the ever dreaded share screen. One moment here. I have to share my audio as well. Okay, can we see this presentation right here?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Excuse me. Okay, so like Leslie said, I'm the manager of youth engagement for the Minnesota Twins, and it's very what I get to do is very personally and professionally a passion of mine. Um, this is me on the right there. Grew up a big baseball fan, and grew up in Minnesota, so have always been diehard of the Twins. And I get to do a lot of this work with amazing people. If it were just me, I couldn't do any of it. I would just be throwing a ball at my wall, going crazy, needing some help. So Emma Charlesworth Sealer is on the left there. I used this slide at a previous presentation I gave with Emma, but she's worth keeping in there because she's the founder of Minnesota Girls Baseball Association. She's also on my staff as a Minnesota Twins youth clinician. So her and I do everything together. She is just an absolute force. Uh, and she's an amazing person. I learned so much from her. So her and I get to do this girls baseball stuff together. So that's a little bit about us. Um, I just wholeheartedly believe that girls belong in baseball. So, like I mentioned previously, I grew up playing baseball. So, grew up a baseball fan, grew up playing baseball. I have a twin brother. So, my first time on a baseball field was when I was in early elementary school. My brother's team needed an extra player because they had a lot of kids that were out on vacation or injured, and I happened to be wearing a red color t-shirt, and they were the Phillies. I think I did that on purpose just in case I'd get called in, and it worked. So their coach called me in and said, "Hey, Frankie, go get your sister." I played shortstop that game, which is such a questionable coaching decision by his coach, and I could not be peeled off of a field since then. So I've been with the Twins for 12 seasons now, actually going on 13, of course, and I haven't been in our community engagement department that entire time. I spent about half my career in ballpark operations with the Twins, which was super, super fun. But my passion truly is in helping kids fall in love with both baseball and softball. And now that I serve in this role, I get to help put on programming that I would have loved to have as a kid. So in 2021, we started a girls' baseball camp. And it started out small. We were trying to figure out, you know, are there girls in Minnesota that are playing baseball? Uh, Lo and behold, a lot of those camp attendees were softball players, excuse me, which is totally fine. We love softball also. I spend my career serving that sport as well. But now toward 2025, we've been refining our target demo. We've been sort of fine tuning who we are serving with our girls baseball programs. And that's really the girl baseball player, the one who wants to play baseball or is already playing baseball. That's who we want to continue to develop and provide opportunities for them to play baseball like they deserve to play. So, like Leslie mentioned, 2025 was pretty exciting. This was the first year that the Twins, actually, that any Major League Baseball team sponsored and supported a girls' baseball team. So this started way back in January, where we provided free training in the Minnesota Twins home clubhouse at Target Field to try to identify some girls that we could potentially bring onto a team. We decided to target the 14-year-old age group because over the past several years we've noticed that there's enough girls within that age group that are competitive ball players. So we were going to hone in on that age group to form our first team. So we did that. So we spent 2025 identifying those players, training those players, all for free for them, and then um, making them an official Minnesota Twin on our 14U Minnesota Twins girls baseball team. So I'm excited about this web page here. It's twins.com/girls baseball. Check it out if you haven't already. I don't know that any other major league team has that. So I'm excited about that. We're going to continue to put our opportunities that we have for girls baseball players out on this website. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a video. I've got a couple videos, thank you, that have showcased what we were able to accomplish. So I've said this time and time again, it's certainly not just me that cares about this. If it were just me, none of this would happen the way that it did. Our entire organization, the Minnesota Twins organization, has bought into this, so much so that they sent a videographer to Reno, Nevada to play or not to play, sorry, to film our journey at the Baseball for All Nationals tournament. They sent a videographer. They have rallied the local media around telling this story. The whole Twins organization has bought into this. So some of the videos that you're about to see showcase that journey, okay? This year, we're bringing a team of 14-year-old girls to the Baseball for All Nationals tournament, which is the largest girls' baseball tournament in the country. They are going to be fully decked out in Minnesota Twins uniforms, and it's going to be amazing. You're in the home of the Minnesota Twins, so I hope that feels as cool to you as it does to us. I was a little girl that just fell in love with baseball. I grew up playing with my twin brother. His team needed an extra person, and I made a couple diving plays, and I could not be peeled off of a baseball field since. The way that I felt standing on a baseball field as a kid is not a feeling I got anywhere else.
I played baseball when I was growing up, and it was the sport that I really wanted to play, but there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to do that.
I started playing baseball when I was about 6 years old. From the time I was about 12 until 19, 20, 21, I was the only girl playing. I even had to switch to softball in high school because they wouldn't allow me to play on the high school baseball team or even try out. And it wasn't until after college that I learned that there were women, girls and women playing all over the world. I found a community, people that were like-minded, that had been through the same things that I had been through. I realized that that's something that we need more of here. There weren't enough girls that were playing locally, and it's something that I wish I would have had growing up.
I know that there are so many girls out there that are like me, and now that I'm in the position that I'm in with the Minnesota Twins, I feel like it's our responsibility to be able to provide programming like this for the girls who were just like me. The Twins are the first MLB club to form a girls baseball nationals team.
I would have been thrilled just having that opportunity, not only to use those physical spaces, but also to know that the Minnesota Twins are welcoming you to use their spaces. It's something that's really special for them.
It's just such an honor to be a part of this. I want us to continue doing this. I want every
club in the nation to do this. I want girls baseball to be a normal thing. This is us, the Minnesota Twins, telling these girls that they belong on a baseball field. And I think what a powerful statement to come from a Major League Baseball club to 14-year-olds. If they feel like they belong on a baseball field, they're going to feel like they belong anywhere.
So that's the start of our journey. If you don't mind bearing with me, I'll take you to the next step of our journey.
Offer you a spot on the Twins 14U Nationals team.
Okay.
Is that something you'd like, Bree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah! She was awesome.
We're really proud of the foundation that we've been building. We've run a series of clinics and identification events over the past couple of years, and now we feel like we know enough girls within the same age range to actually put a team together.
Kylie, we are super excited to offer you a spot on our Nationals team if you'd like to take it.
Yes.
Good. Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to train them, we're going to run practices, and we're going to treat them just like our own team because they are. And we're going to head out to Reno, Nevada and compete against a lot of other girls' baseball teams.
I get chills just thinking about having this team from Minnesota be there. I mean, yeah, we've gone with, people we don't know, but just representing our home state is just something special. It's been a long time coming, so thank you all. Thank you all for the opportunity and for all you do for girls baseball, and we're super excited.
Welcome to the Minnesota Twins BFA Nationals team. Isn't that exciting?
I want these girls to not only just, show up in Reno and play together and then leave. We want them to be able to connect with each other, and not just on the field, with practices and things like that, but help them really feel like a team.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about!
I cannot thank Chelsey and the Twins organization enough for simply bringing this visibility. There are going to be thousands of young girls sitting in the stands, my daughter included, who are going to say, I want to do that. And when they do that, we need to be there to support them.
What do we got here?
So we've got our 14U Girls Nationals baseball team. First time ever an MLB team has formed a girls baseball team.
That's
so
awesome.
We're going to Nevada to a Nationals tournament at the end of this month.
Good luck.
We've recruited and selected these ball players to represent Minnesota.
Right. They're gonna play in Target team?
Maybe someday.
I am so excited, along with the rest of the girls. We are just so happy to be playing in this tournament together.
Oh, Kylie, I am excited for you. Congratulations on all the success up to this point.
The first ever Minnesota Twins 14U girls baseball team. Brought together by Minnesota Twins.
All right. That's one of my favorite videos right there. So here's our roster. These are some of the girls these are all the girls that filled out our inaugural team. Amazing girls. I've grown to love them so deeply. Just wonderful people, and I'm honored to be a part of their journey. I have the third video. I don't know that it's worth playing. Well, do we have the time? Okay. All right. Well, it's just a couple minutes right here. Here's the sort of close of our journey. That was the amazing 2025, and then we can chat.
In Reno, playing with a full team of girls, playing against other girls across the entire country is cool, but to add a cherry on top, we all get to wear the Minnesota Twins jerseys. That's incredible. It's a really big privilege to represent Minnesota, and a bigger privilege to represent the Minnesota Twins. I'm incredibly proud of our Twins 14U girls team. We were one of the hardest competitors there. We ended up going 5-2, ultimately lost in the championship against the California Waves. Fought like heck all week long, and we have so much to be proud of.
We had a first today. Somebody broke a baseball. So we would like to give this to Karina.
I think this tournament relit a fire in me that has always been there. But this tournament reminded me how fierce female athletes are. They're incredibly competitive, they're incredibly athletic, they're incredibly strong. They've got an incredible future ahead of them if they want to keep pursuing this game.
Kylie, you are a freaking tank.
Oh,
yeah! Good job.
Kylie Sullivan, our team captain, pitched a 7-inning complete game. She's incredible. A moment I'll never forget is when we were winning 11-4 against a team that we blew a really big lead to the day before. So we had a chip on our shoulder. Sophia Grzelski was up to bat. There's fire in her eyes and this determination I have never seen. She just launches the ball to deep center field, scored runs, and it was such a special moment. And I'm so happy that she got that big hit.
Sophia, I'm going to call you out. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I know you were getting down on yourself. Okay?
I'm still processing how special this was. I've been a Twins fan my entire life, and I've been obsessed with baseball my entire life. So for those two passions of mine to merge is really, really special. I've seen the entire Minnesota Twins organization buy into this. We've had so many staff members pour their resources into telling this story, into getting our team there, into helping equip our team. So it's not just me that cares about this. I can't imagine how I would have felt if I had female coaches when I was 14 and if I had opportunities to play with other girls against other girls. It would have been so amazing, it's hard to fathom. Some of the parents said that they've never seen their kid have so much fun playing baseball. Yeah, it was because we were winning and we were in a beautiful part of the country, but I really think it's because we had a team of all girls that are playing the sport that they love, being coached by all women who are coaching the sport that they love. What occurred was really magical, and we need to keep it going.
All right. Thank you for watching that with me. That's the conclusion of my formal presentation. So thank you through that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. That was amazing. I mean, watching those girls play, that's what it, as you pointed out, I think for all of us, that's what it's all about, is those opportunities and seeing. So how did you pitch this to the Minnesota Twins? I mean, how did you approach them? Who did you approach? You said, clearly there's buy-in there, but how did you pitch this to the Twins?
Yeah, good question. It helps that I get to decide what we do in terms of baseball and softball ultimately, but I need our board approval and I need our executive director's approval. So I say this every chance I get. We have an incredibly supportive Minnesota Twins Community Fund board, executive director, and board. So I report directly to our executive director, Kristen. She's amazing. She's so supportive of girls playing baseball. So, I had talked about it a little bit over the past few years, and we tried a couple things and it just fell flat because we didn't have enough girls. We had done identification combines. Some of them were well attended, some were not. So we've been trying. So this was a little bit of a risk. In 2024, when we were talking about our budget for the upcoming season for the Twins Community Fund board, I said, I think we need to allocate our budget dollars to support a nationals team. And the conversation then was, well, what does that look like? My answer was, I really have no idea, but let's try something and see how it goes. So they said, good luck and go for it. Here are the budget dollars to do that. So I'm a Twins employee, but all of the work that I do is funded by the Twins Community Fund. So very grateful for a supportive board.
That's awesome. So that seems like that might be a little bit of a unique setup that other Major League Baseball teams don't have. Is that?
Yeah, yep, good observation. Yeah, every club runs their foundation work a little bit differently. I should say every club runs their youth baseball, softball work a little bit differently. Some clubs, my counterpart at some clubs are within the marketing department or a specific youth baseball, softball development department. I sit within our community engagement department. So a lot of my closest colleagues don't do youth baseball, softball. They're doing grants field grants, field renovation grants, equipment grants, hospital visits, school visits. Our mascot sits within my department. Our jewel events like Hall of Fame induction sits within my department. So it's certainly a unique setup.
That's very cool. And so I think the big question before we get to others, just on this note, is are you guys going to do it again this year in Rockford?
We are, yes. And I think I can publicly say here we are going to support a two teams, so a 14U and a 16U team.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's a
thank you.
wow.
And
So
and
have other major league teams, anybody reached out to you because of you guys being the first to do? I mean, this just seems like a no-brainer that other teams should follow your examples. Have anybody reached out to you to ask how you did this for advice?
yes, yes, they have. Thank you for
Oh,
saying that. I
awesome.
also think it's a no-brainer. Um, you know, other teams have reached out or I'm friends with people at other teams and they've texted me or emailed me and say, "Hey, that was awesome. Saw what you did. That's super cool." Um, I think there's a lot of things that people want to do and they can't do yet for whatever reason. We're all limited by resources, namely time, staff resources, money, dollars, things of that sort. So I really I say this and I really mean it. You really have to care enough to do it because it takes passion to do this. I ended up coaching the team with Emma and Brittany. That was not the original plan because I had assumed that I was going to be too busy uh, overseeing all of our other baseball and softball programs that I just couldn't commit to actually traveling. And then, the board and our executive director said, "You got to actually go." And I was like, "Yes, I
That's awesome.
will." I ended up
That's awesome.
missing another one of our RBI youth tournaments that one of our other teams was in. So, if you go one place, you're missing other things.
Sure.
Of course, that's life. But yeah, you really just have to care enough to do it. And I'm really hopeful that at least one other team will do it and then some more and more and more.
Yeah. Well, I think just the fact that they've reached out is encouraging. And to your point, it's the passion, it's that, and you have great support. I've known Emma actually, I've known since she was in high school.
I bet.
She won a scholarship from SABR as a
Yep.
high school senior. It's writing about baseball. Um, so that also helps. But it strikes me that you're creating a pipeline as well, because with a second team at 16 and under, that means any of your 14-year-olds can potentially play on that team, right?
Yes, and that's why we did it. Obviously we needed the funding to do it, but yeah, our 14U team has to split up because of age. So we want to be able to continue to serve those girls. And we're sort of making this up as we go. I didn't have a clear 2-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. So we're sort of meeting the needs as they come. It's a big undertaking. We do not fully fund the teams, so the players have to get themselves to the tournament. I wish like heck we could.
Right.
But also we've decided, to support a little bit less financially so we can support more teams. That's
Right.
the goal.
Well, and some would argue it's good for them to put in a commitment as well, right?
Yes.
In terms
Yeah.
of but the fact that they have the support of the twins, I mean, that had to be amazing. How did the girls did they get received because people saw that they were supported by a Major League Baseball team?
Yeah, it seemed like they were treated like pro baseball players in Reno. It was pretty cool. They would, they'd get on base and then the first baseman and the second baseman would be like, "You're with the Twins? That's cool. What does that mean?" So they really kind of had some big shoulders about it. It was awesome. It was really cool to see. So we
Yeah.
tried to treat them like big leaguers. So everything that we could provide them, we tried to do that. So as
Yeah.
you saw in one of the videos, we had a send off on the field before a Twins game. We gave them swag bags, They talked with Pablo Lopez and Louis Varland, who pitched in the World Series quite well, unfortunately for another team. But yeah, we tried to give them the whole big league experience because we want them to feel like they are a Minnesota Twin.
That's really cool, and I really do hope. And they did amazing. I think I heard that 5-2 is what they
Yes.
and played all the way to the and for a team that had and for those who don't know, often this is the case with these teams going to nationals. They don't necessarily get much opportunity to play other girls' teams until they arrive there. Was
Totally.
that? Yeah.
Yes, yes. A lot of our girls had never played with another girl, or certainly not against other girls, certainly not against all girls teams. So this was exciting for them.
Yeah. And so just quick before for those who don't know, the Nationals in 2020 this year, I can now say that in 2026 are going to be in Rockford in July. They're going to correspond with the World Qualifier that also will be in Rockford. And part of the reason for doing that is so that these girls can get to see the next generation of women playing from around the world. And so that is happening between you guys start on the 21st, I think, in July, all the way through. And so somewhere from the 20th to the 26th, you'll see all of these things happening in Rockford. So, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
excited to hear that you guys will be there again and with two teams. That's really awesome. So,
Yeah.
this is certainly the current highlight of your career, but I'd like to delve into a little bit more of what you've been doing and how you came to be. And so you told us that you've been playing since you were a little kid and you got out there with your brother wearing the red t-shirt. I love that.
Mhm.
So you were shortstop in that first game. Is that where you continued to play, or did you shift and play in other places? And are you still playing?
Yeah, definitely not still playing. I
Yes.
wish that I was. I wish that I had the time and the muscles to still do it. But shortstop was my primary position throughout growing up. I just loved it. I caught a little bit, played a little bit of second base. I really played anywhere that I could, anywhere I could get out on the field. I just told my coaches, put me wherever you need me. I also had some incredibly supportive coaches growing up, and I don't think I realized it then. You know, you never realize anything when you're 10. Um, but I had some awesome coaches that really valued me being part of the team, treated me like everybody else, let me go out there and say I want to be the shortstop, and um, so that was awesome. I I used my twin brother as sort of my excuse for playing. I didn't feel like I should have played, um, for whatever sick, twisted reason. I just said, I have a twin brother, and my parents don't want to drive us to two different sports, so we play together. And then in eighth grade, my brother realized he was a very fast sprinter, so he stopped playing baseball to go do track and field. And thank goodness he did. He ended up sprinting Division 1 at the University of Minnesota, but that was sort of difficult for me because I lost my excuse, you
Sure.
know? I had to reckon with if my brother's not playing anymore, can I still play? And I decided yes, because I don't want to play softball. I don't want to play anything else. So I continued to play. And that's actually when baseball got really, really hard for me because boys just got way faster and way stronger without trying.
Sure.
And I had to try really hard. My brother got wicked fast as a sprinter, and I was bigger than him. So explain that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I stopped playing at the end of high school. I played through high school, and then in college, I played fast pitch softball. So knowing what I know
Okay.
now, I would have tried to continue playing baseball, but back then, people were not really doing that.
So did you play on your high school baseball team
I
as the
played for
only?
I didn't play for our high school because I
Okay.
wasn't allowed to. I played for our community team.
Okay.
Um, Again, knowing what I know now would have
Right.
pushed that a little bit, but my family didn't really challenge a whole lot, and that's okay. I've got a story now because of it.
Well, and unfortunately, that's the story of many, right? Is that same story that, and the fact that I find it interesting, you had to feel like you had to make up an excuse to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I didn't feel like I should. Like, it just felt like I need an excuse to be out here. And
Right.
I lost that when my brother stopped playing.
But now you have the opportunity to give girls that chance so they don't have to make up that excuse.
Totally, totally. And I'm so grateful for my story. I'm so grateful for how my parents let me love baseball. I I was a little bit insecure throughout my childhood about how much I loved baseball because my brother didn't love it that much. I was the sports nut. And I vividly remember when we were in elementary school, he was playing in the Peace Garden, and I was the quarterback on the recess football team. And now this makes sense because I do what I do for a living, and he is a state forester for Colorado. So I guess by third grade, our destinies were already decided. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I'm really grateful that my parents let me love this game and poured into it, and they let me cover my childhood bedroom walls with posters and pennants and uh, scrapbook magazine pictures, and they just really cultivated that love
Uh-huh.
that I had for baseball. And I don't know how else to say it other than they really let me love baseball. And look at the career I get to do today. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. So, who were your favorite players growing up, and who are your, and obviously you work for but growing up, that's why I'm asking you, growing up, who were your favorite players?
I mean, the usual Derek Jeter and Joe Mauer. Yeah, can't go wrong. Just love the way that they
Do you
played.
have a favorite historical player?
Yeah, before that, man, almost every single Minnesota Twin on the late 90s, early 2000s roster. I loved them all for different reasons. I mean, Nick Punto and Michael Kadire, I know we're not really even that far in history, but I loved those guys for how they played. I've always wanted to be a Nick Punto of life because he could play any position and do anything that was needed during any situation. So I love that. But of course, Kirby Puckett, love the way that he played. Harmon Killebrew, love him for his personality. He actually, Michael Kadire talks about this a lot. Uh, Harmon would always say, make sure everyone can read every letter of your autograph. So make sure it's a really good autograph. And that's why Michael
That's cool.
Kadire's autograph looks the way that it does.
Yeah.
So I love that.
So you are truly a tried and true Minnesota Twins fan.
Yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's funny because too often you find people that their childhood and where they are in their adult has changed because they've moved somewhere, those kinds of things. And so it's nice to see somebody that has that connection to a team. So, given that, tell us how you ended up, because you've been now with the Twins for a long time. How did that happen?
Yeah, honestly, just the grace of God got me here. I'm so grateful for how it all worked out. When I was in college, I met the right people at the right time. And I know that sounds cliche, but isn't that how it works?
Mhm.
I was I knew that I wanted to work in baseball. I knew that I wanted to work for the Twins, but I didn't necessarily know what that meant or in what capacity. I didn't really even know what jobs exist or what to do, but I knew that I want to work for the Twins. So my junior year of college, I applied for several of the Twins internships and I didn't get them. The the caveat is I was on staff as a youth baseball instructor at that time. So I was a clinician. That's the department that I oversee now. And I was the only female instructor on staff. So I would do camps and clinics for the Twins. That next year, I applied for the internships. I thought I had a foot in the door because I was on staff on payroll. That is not true. That is a fallacy. I had no foot in the door. I didn't get it. I think that was divine protection because I was certainly not ready. I was too just ill developed. And I thought that's okay. I'm going to work on myself professionally. My senior year of college, I applied again for the internships, and I ended up getting the game presentation internship. And that was an incredible year because that was the year the Twins hosted the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And the role that I had as an intern, I played a big part in facilitating the events that were associated with the All-Star Game. So I was telling Mike Trout, Derek Jeter, Jose Bautista, CC Sabathia where to go on the field, when to go for the home run derby, for other on-field events. It was incredible. True dream come true. And then at the end of that internship, a full-time job opened up in ballpark operations. And at that time, full-time jobs were not really open. Now it's a little bit different, but you just hardly ever saw a full-time position open up in professional sports because people got their jobs and they kept them.
And they stayed.
So I didn't know anything about that position, but I relied on the reputation that I was fortunate to establish throughout that internship and was offered that position. So I served in ballpark operations for 5 years, and I could have spent my career doing that. I loved it so much. But thankfully, this side opened up, and I was grateful to interview and apply.
I was going to ask about the 2014 All-Star Game because I saw that in your, because
Yeah.
I was curious what that was like. It had, I mean, got to meet all kinds, as you just said. So what was that experience like?
It was everything you could imagine and more. I don't know how else to say it. It was truly amazing. I grew up, like I mentioned, I grew up with pictures and posters of these guys on my childhood bedroom walls. And now they are, for 3 days, my coworkers. It was outstanding. It was incredible. Um, I was nervous the whole time. I had no idea what the heck I was doing, but I just knew I'm gonna do what I'm told when I'm told. I wore the headset and I was following direction from our producer. Everything, I don't know if people know, but everything that you see in a ball game, on the screens, the lighting, the music, everything is triggered by a button. And somebody has to know when to press that button. So I was part of that team that facilitated everything. It was unbelievable. I had to go get Jose Bautista was just dragging his feet and he had to go hit in the home run derby. And I'm getting yelled at, go get Jose Bautista, go get him. So I run into the clubhouse and I say, you need to get out there in like 10 seconds. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I was like, that is not the urgency we need. He's like, I'm good. He runs
That's
out there.
awesome.
And I ended up giving him the trophy. I think because I don't remember if he won the Derby or if it was a different trophy, but he pretended to drop it just to give me a heart attack. And that was a terrifying moment for me. He was goofing around. It was fun.
Sure. Yeah. So Merrill has been writing in the chat, thanking
I
you for
see.
your,
That's awesome.
yeah, so you can see them. He's a Mets fan and a Twins fan. That's an unusual. So Merrill, if you didn't know, I've been a tried and true Mets fan since I was like 4 years old. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah. In fact, before you came on, we were talking about the fact that Pete Alonso is now gone from the Mets, but it's a whole different story. You know. So can you tell us a little bit about what your job was like? Because when in your baseball operations side of things, before you came onto the youth engagement side, as
Mhm.
you talked about earlier, people not knowing what kinds of jobs are out there, what they do. What was your typical day like in that work?
Yeah, so there really was no typical day. So in ballpark operations, I was part of the team that was responsible for running the ballpark, maintaining the ballpark, running events within the ballpark, um, always ensuring fan and guest safety and a high quality experience. So a little bit about my childhood. I grew up building our house with my family. So was very hands-on, understood some technical things, wasn't afraid to get dirty. We had a muddy yard for like 15 years of my childhood. So my brother and I just dirt biked around and had pumpkin patches in the fall and just a dirty, wonderful childhood. So my work in ballpark operations related to that because I didn't mind getting dirty. Um, so I had to be a self-starter. I had to be ambitious enough to walk around the ballpark and know what needed to be done, and when and how. I worked alongside our maintenance department to, make sure things got fixed. And we helped oversee non-baseball events as well as every baseball game. Um, so yeah, a whole lot
A
of
little bit of that Jill of all trades, as they say.
that is totally, totally true. Yes.
That's very cool. So you talked about the role that your family has played, and your parents in particular, in helping you fulfill your dreams, etc. Are there others who you would look to and say, these were inspirations to me, or these people have been mentors to me through my career to this stage?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question. Um, Gosh, you'd think I would have a quicker answer to that. Uh, First and foremost, I can just think of my family for how they poured into me as a baseball fan. And just that's outside of my parents. It's my aunts and uncles and my cousins. They always knew that Chelsey was the baseball nut. So get Chelsey the baseball glove, get Chelsey the bobblehead. Don't get any other cousin or my brother that stuff. Like give it to me as Christmas gifts and things like that. So my whole family really supported my love. My coaches did as well. Um, I didn't really have like somebody that I looked at and said, I want to be that. I didn't even know how to dream. I didn't
Uh-huh.
really understand what that meant or what that looked like. Maybe it's kind of sad, but throughout my childhood, I just felt like this is going to end someday. And I don't know if that means as a player or as a fan or what that means, but this feels finite. And I hope that when I work with these girls now, I want them to realize that this doesn't have to be finite.
Right.
You can love this game forever, and you can work in this game. You can coach in this game. You don't have to go through life as a baseball player or fan thinking that there's an end to it. Um, so I certainly didn't have women that I looked up to. I wish I did,
Yeah.
you know?
But you're now that for, whether you realize it or not, you've
Well,
become that for all of these new younger, and that's got to be, I mean, that's kind of amazing to realize that that's who you are now. And you living out your dream is going to allow others to live out theirs,
thank
which
you
is,
so much. That hasn't hit me. I don't really realize that quite yet, but I appreciate that reminder and that encouragement so much. So thank you.
well, yeah, it's the, I would, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, that's who they have, you and others like you, Emma and others, to look up to. And the fact that you didn't shows us how far women's baseball has come, and the record and the opportunities that are there. And I heard you say in when you were doing your introduction in one of the videos talking about sort of your dream for women's baseball in the future. Could you say a little bit more about where you'd like to see this all go? What you see happening over the next 5 to 10 years, if you had your dream in
Yeah.
for women in baseball?
Yeah, if I had my dream, it would be girls playing baseball all over everywhere, all over the world. It would be that I don't have to even talk about it anymore, that it's just such a normal thing. Um, and that girls just know they can choose baseball or softball, and it's no big thing. And there's plenty of opportunities within both sports. With that, I wish that every major league team recognized girls play baseball and provide opportunities for them to do that. Major League Baseball does a great job at this, and they have a pretty robust girls baseball program within their youth development space. And the staff that are working on those programs are amazing and care so deeply about girls baseball. We just need all the clubs to do the same. Um, yeah, I wish it's just a normal thing,
Yeah,
and
I
girls
think
know that they can love it and play it.
I think you hit it right there. I would say as long as we're an exception, as long as somebody's an exception,
Yeah.
nothing ever changes. It's when it becomes a norm, right?
Right.
If others have questions, please feel free to either write them in the chat or raise your hands, and I will happily, because I can ask questions as long as we need to. I have lots of them. Um, but happy to see. So, Val, fortunate to work the 85 All-Star game for NBC Sports and stayed in the Twin Cities. Okay, so that's quite cool.
Meryl's got quite the past. I love
I
it.
know. That's why I am reading all of these different opportunities and things. So, um, as I think about sort of where your career has brought you to the present, and I look around at the landscape of women's baseball today, and where we're going and the opportunities that are out there, how do we, as those who are not working in baseball like you are and have those, how can we help make these changes and continue to support these kinds of things? What advice do you give to folks like us who are out there and saying, what do we need to do to help make this dream become a reality?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I hope I don't answer it incorrectly. I think maybe other clubs might give you a different answer, but from my seat, we as MLB club employees, we're responsible for so much, so many programs, so much territory. It's myself and one other staff member that are responsible for facilitating youth baseball, softball programming across what we call Twins territory, which is 5-state region. I know other clubs have massive regions as well, the Braves, the Rockies, certainly not just us. So we have a lot on our plates, and that's not a woe is me. It's such an honor to do this work, and I love it so much. But the thing that I advise people when I can is keep doing the work because you're building proof of concept. And when and if you can get a club involved, make it super easy for that club to say yes and get involved. Throughout the year, I don't have a ton of time to conjure up new things, new ideas. I wish I did. That's something we got to fix, right? But there are a lot of amazing people doing pioneering work on the ground that I would love to be a part of in some way. So when those opportunities arise, make it easy for a club to say, "Yep, you have our buy-in. Here are some of our resources." And maybe those resources are just the IP. Maybe it's just the brand name. Maybe it's funding. Maybe it's equipment. Maybe it's other things. But does that make sense? Sort of make it
Yeah,
easy for the
absolutely.
club
No,
to.
and I love that. And I hadn't really thought about it quite that way. The idea of making it easy for somebody, being able to present them something that says, we're just asking for your support. We're giving you the idea. We've got a full-fledged notion of what we'd like to do.
Mhm.
Because as you point out, you're only one person. There's only two people, right? Resources are very key. So, no, I really like that. Mary, did you have a question or comment that you wanted to make?
Well, I was going to say I could watch those videos all day and watch you present all day, and you just radiate positivity, and I love what you're doing, and yeah, you're eloquent, and I love meeting Emma as well. If you ever get a chance to meet Emma Charlesworth Sealer, she's fabulous as well. So, just a couple questions. I think you had mentioned at the meeting in Minnesota that you have girls from outside of Minnesota, because I know you have a handful from Wisconsin, Wisconsin All-Star Girls Baseball. And
Yeah.
also, do these girls have, I mean, this might be a kind of a dumb question, but do they have a knowledge of like the Women's Professional Baseball League and the USA Women's National Team?
Yeah, good question. So our team consisted of girls from Twins territory, so that 5-state region I mentioned. So that's sort of our selection criteria. We will we will choose we will always prioritize girls from our region, one that aligns with our giving guidelines, and also our goal is to serve girls within Twins territory. So that's sort of our selection pool. And to your second question, yes, but I think they are they're learning more and more all the time, and we send them stuff. We send them articles and content and opportunities to be exposed to some of these women and programs. I think the BFA Nationals being in Rockford will be really cool and really key for these girls to have their eyes opened and see what they can become. This is new. I mean, all of
Yeah.
this is relatively new. So for them to start dreaming to become a pro baseball player is incredible.
It'll be the first time it's ever happened that the World Cup and the Baseball for All Nationals have been in the same place at the same time. And then, of course, I don't know if you're aware, Chelsea, the All-American League reunion is also going to be there. So
Yeah.
we literally have past, present, and future all together in the same place for 1 week in July.
Yes, I'm gonna have sunglasses on because I'm gonna be crying the entire time.
I don't think you're going to be alone.
No.
And then, of course, that all ends on the 27th, and then August 1st is, as you pointed out, is the first game for the Women's Professional Baseball League in Springfield. And so they literally are going to be back to back to one another. So I think your comments about the exciting future are already coming. We're going to see, I think, the potential of that this summer.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see it unfold. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be, and are you at this stage planning to be there as the one of the coaches again?
For nationals, yeah, yes,
Awesome.
that is the plan.
Very cool. Very
Yes,
cool. Yeah.
thank you. I don't know
Um,
which team yet. We'll figure that out.
right. Sure.
Let's see.
And the girls will get another opportunity because they're going to get a chance to have practices and play some of those games at Buyer Stadium, which is where the Rockford Peaches played in the 1940s. So that will be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. We're gonna need to make sure our girls understand the significance of that. It there's been so many women that have come before them to make this possible, women that they know about and women that they don't know about. And we try to try to make them aware of some of the
Sure.
suffering that
Yep.
women have endured so that they can suit up and play baseball.
Well, if we can ever provide from our end anything on the historical about some of these women that you could pass on to, if there's anything we can do to help, all you have to, we'd be happy to, because that's kind of what we do. And certainly, if you, my background, I'm a history professor, so that's kind of what I do.
So awesome. Yes, let's
Yeah.
continue to work
So,
together for sure.
yeah.
I was going
And
to say
so,
Emma did that wonderful essay.
yes.
So just to because I was wondering how if the girls knew about the Bloomer Girls and the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League and Tony Stone and
Yeah. There's
but
lots that
Emma's
we could,
essay is pretty is just
yes, it is.
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she tries to hide her previous work as much as
I know.
possible.
Yeah.
So I try to speak about it every chance I get because
Yeah.
Emma is amazing. And so we're fortunate to have Tony Stone
Yes.
Stadium in St. Paul. So we try to host as many of our events there as
I was
possible,
going to
which
ask.
makes
That would,
sense. Yeah, so we try to talk about Tony Stone as much as
awesome.
possible. And then we were fortunate to work with Lippy Osborne. Is that her nickname, Lippy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fantastic. So she visited with us at Target Field before the girls got their official send off at the Twins
Awesome.
game, and she spoke with the girls, and they were just amazed by her wisdom. She is.
Have you met Frank White? Do you know
Yes,
Frank White? Okay.
yes.
Because I was going to say, if you wanted to introduce somebody about Tony Stone, Frank is the one.
Oh yeah, he's our resident expert. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank
Because
you.
because he could certainly be a resource for helping them understand that history. Because you are lucky to have Tony, and the fact I'm glad that was going to be my question. Have they played at that field, or have they had a chance to experience that history?
Yes. Yep. We have our as much programming there as possible, and we have Tony Stone on our. We've got a Negro Leagues mural in Target Field, and Tony Stone is on that. So she's always mentioned anytime a tour passes through that area. And then we also have it's called our Women in Baseball mural at Target
Yeah.
Field. It's on club level, and it's this massive mural that
Yes.
showcases all the girls and women that have. Um, Contributed to baseball in the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
So she's on there. It's an incredible talking point, and we show it to everyone we can. Actually, when the USA Women's National Team played at Target Field a couple years ago, on their way up to Thunder Bay,
Yeah.
we got to show them that mural, and it was an incredible experience.
Well, once again, the Twins leading the way because that is again something that most major league teams do not have. And so I think your whole organization is kind of leading the way in a lot of this. So,
Thank you.
um, yeah. Anybody with a last question? Because we're coming up on the hour and I want to respect everybody's time. And I'm not seeing any questions, comments. Um, so I just want to again thank Chelsey. Thank you so much for joining us. Mary said it very well earlier. You are incredibly eloquent and well, I mean, the way you can articulate what it is that you want to do and the dream that you have is just beautiful to listen to. And so greatly appreciate everything that you are doing and will continue to do.
Thank you. That means the world to me. I just feel like the 12-year-old I've always been inside my heart. So that's very encouraging to me. I appreciate that very much and
Well,
appreciate the time that you
we
spent
are
with me.
happy to see and happy to support everything that you are doing. And so thank you again for coming. And I'll just let everybody know our upcoming guests over the next couple of months are going to be Alexis Scrappy Hopkins, who is one of the players for the new Women's Professional Baseball League, Laura Harai from the the Great Britain's national team, also part of, and then Sherry Davis, the great longtime announcer, and will also be joining us over the next few. So those are our next upcoming speakers. And so, again, thank you, Chelsey, and thank you everybody for joining us. Happy New Year to you all, and hopefully we will see you again either on one of these or certainly in Rockford this summer.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.